I'm Todd Stock. I'm going to talk about sharpening today because I'm the one that yells at everybody, "You're making it too difficult. Sharpening's easy." The whole 9 yards, right? So, show of hands, how many folks could think they could probably do a better job on sharpening?
Well,
Me.
good job, then I'm
Certainly.
not you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the bottom line is you can do an adequate job. You know, there's nothing in guitar building that requires you to use 15,000 grit Japanese water stones and go to tremendous lengths. I mean, there's very few woods that are so difficult to work with hand tools that you have to go to extraordinary measures. So really what we're talking about is getting a consistent edge on a tool. There's a lot of different ways to do it. I'm going to show you two today. One is Scary Sharp. How many folks have heard of Scary Sharp? It stems from, I think, an old, I think a Usenet article that got put out, and essentially the guy said, hey, you can sharpen with sandpaper. Well, in my Boy Scout handbook, circa 1964, sharpen with sandpaper, how to do it. It was in one of the things there. So it's not a new idea. In fact, my grandfather, when I went through his toolboxes after he passed away in the 70s, he had been an old carpenter, and he had a couple of pieces of wood that had sandpaper stapled to them in different grits so that he could just go through. And in this case, 400 grit, 600 grit, wet or dry, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000. The 2,000 wet or dry is about equivalent to a 6,000 grit water stone. Okay, thereabouts. It depends on the grading. It's not really. So anyway, what you're seeing is this is my incredibly sophisticated chisel simulator, blade simulator, just a piece of poplar. And what I've done here is I've put a 25-degree bevel on it. So what I'm trying to do with this blade is essentially create this nice. Can you see that now? Yeah.
Can you show to the camera too?
It's worn essentially. Use a little bit of concrete here. It's worn itself so that there we go. It's sort of rounded over. If we look at it from the bottom, you'll see this real wide flat area that reflects light. In other words, it's dull. If we look at it, sort of round it over this way, round it over that way. So, pretty dull blade. Now what we'd like, sharp, it has a primary bevel at about 25 degrees is what I use, but you can use whatever you want. Steeper the bevel, the more difficult the chisel is going to be to drive through wood, but the more durable the edge is going to be generally, the higher the bevel angle. Most people these days seem to use a secondary bevel. Can you see the secondary bevel here? And that is normally put on with, say, a whetstone or sandpaper, something of that nature. In other words, it's put a little bit steeper angle here, makes the edge slightly more durable. And the big advantage is when I go to hone this blade, I don't have to hone the entire bevel every time to polish that out. I can just hone a small section of it. And as this chisel wears, I'll simulate wear here, and this bevel gets wider and wider, I'll eventually get to the point where I'll say, you know, I'm kind of tired of having a bevel that wide. It's, again, the disadvantage is a little bit more force required to push it through wood. So I'll go ahead and regrind, and then I'll start from scratch. Jig here, hopefully it'll come out square. And again, I already measured this, and I determined that I needed to have this at about a lot less than that to get about the right angle. And I'm going to grind at 25 degrees. Not quite as polished as Jim. It's been years since I did any platform instruction. But so if we look at this, it's doing a pretty good job. It's a little bit out of square with the blade here, so I'll bring this over just a bit. It looks like we're cutting more over here. Well, we'll be in good shape though. And these are pretty fast grinders. They're pretty durable. I've had this for, I don't know, 8 years now, and I've gone through about 1/8 of an inch worth of stones, so not bad. But $400, a little bit expensive for a grinder. You could do the same thing using a diamond stone. You could do the same thing using very coarse grit sandpaper. Doesn't matter how you get it. You could actually do this on the disc and belt sander. You see some folks do that in the shop. Doesn't matter how you get there. You just need to get there.
The
So
nice
we're
thing about that is you can't overheat the metals.
Right.
Grinding on that.
so
Take the temper out of it.
yeah. Y'all jump in if you see some, just like with Jim's thing here. So look, now we've got a uniform bevel we can work with. We're still, I'll sharpen past that. We've got a little bit more we could have done there, but we're fine. And that's about 25 degrees, or a little bit off the square, but hey, for demo. So, yeah, so one of the things you can do to minimize your scratches on any grinder,
If you're demoing,
yeah, is, if you got one, yeah, we'll do a couple of these, so I mean, that's fine.
here's a Chinese one.
Okay,
That Chinese bell.
absolutely, these are ones that I really prefer to do by
And
hand.
here's my favorite one.
Okay.
They put a.
There you go, that one needs to be rebeveled, so that's fine, and I'll work with folks afterwards here. So what we're gonna do is the second thing we're gonna do, we've got a nice bevel ground on here, looks pretty uniform. We can go ahead and put this right on the stone, but we might wanna do some cleanup on the back here. Right now, this blade is pretty much where this piece of wood is. We've got a fine feather edge from the grinding. If you can't see it, you can at least feel it. If you push your thumb, so no blood yet.
No.
Yeah, and you can just feel the burr, and that's what that burr is. It's a little piece of, it's just fine, very thin metal that is left over from the grinding process. If we break this metal off right now, there's a very rough, not very durable edge. So if y'all have taken a chisel directly from the Tormac and, wow, that looks sharp to me, and you start working away and you find out it's not a very durable edge, that's why. You've got an edge, you've got this stuff right here, this is some sort of burr that you've raised. And really, all that honing does is it gets rid of the burr. Bottom line is that if instead of honing, I'm gonna take this plane and I'm just gonna simulate, if I were to take this and put it on my scary sharp and all that, essentially all I do is I knock the burr off and I smooth that edge off. That's about it. That's what honing is. Not too much